you do all three of those things, you send out the music to open submissions, you go to a couple events, you work with people who are already kind of there, like artist wise. If you do all of those things and it's consecutive and consistent, you'll tend to see that the business starts building around you. And if you have good music, usually after the first year of doing this, you get so busy that you're really then focusing on only the projects you're serious about.
Ain't nothing but the real thing.
Yes. My name is Vijay. I'm a composer for film and TV. I've been doing feature films and commercials over here in India. I've also been constantly doing scores for documentaries in National Geographic and Discovery for some time now, about 6-7 years now. And I'm trying to get into the sync industry and trying to crack it. So once I learned about sync industry, it just intrigued the hell out of me, and I just wanted to get a lot clearer about how the industry works and how I can improve my chances and stuff. So I thought I'll get on a call with you to consult further and take things forward.
Yeah, so basically, I'm a musician too, and I've been working with Vijay for the past 10 years now. So I've been his music editor, sound engineer, and as for the sync part, I've been handling. So he makes the music, and I help place. I take care of the business side of it, registrations and pitching to libraries and stuff.
Do you work out of a home studio or do you have a facility that you work out of?
No, I have my own facility that I work out of.
Okay. And then how long have you been making music for?
About 15 years now. I started when I was 18. Yeah.
Did you go to college for this as well, or is this all self-taught?
No. It's all self-taught.
Beautiful. Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's open the floor. Let me know anything I can help, advise, or give you some perspective on. So let me know. Open it up.
Sure. So there is one specific branch in sync that I'm very, very interested on. That's the trailer music. So because the kind of trailer music that the industry uses and the kind of music that I make, they align on a very great level. But I've been trying to get some info on pitching avenues and pitching libraries. Somehow there is a missing link to it. So I thought I'll probably get on a call with you and ask you about it. So the thing is, just to refer it, I'm putting a number on it just to refer the scale at which I'm asking the questions on. So there are the trailer tracks which get placed in Marvel, DC, and those kind of movies. Those are $100,000 or $125,000 placement trailer tracks. So the thing is, the kind of tracks that I want to make and the kind of placements that I want to get are on the top movies. Say, for example, if it's Dune or if it's a Marvel movie, Avengers movie, that kind of stuff. That's the first question for me.
Okay, let's start there then. Before we get started on the question, the number that you threw out, you said for the trailers, what do you say, $100,000 and up? Is that where have you seen that?
I think we've seen it on a couple of courses, and I think we've seen it on a couple of websites which mention stuff about sync. But I also wanted to know firsthand from a member inside the sync industry about it, because I've read it. I've not heard it from a person per se.
Okay, so I can only tell you what I've seen. I've personally never seen a trailer for over $100,000. Not saying that they don't exist, but usually, let's say it's a big movie, and I've had some of my mentees, they've had placements on Marvel on trailers. Now, let me explain this in a little more depth, though, because I think it's good to kind of share the whole thing.
Yeah.
If let's say you're an independent artist, meaning you don't have representation through a major company, like a major publisher or record label, then if you're working directly with a sync company, that sync company is usually taking 50%. They're going to try to get a good deal, but they're already going to get half of whatever that fee is. That's kind of standard in the music industry right now. 50% is kind of normal for sync placements. The thing that sometimes differs is if you're an established, like if you're Bruno Mars and they're coming to you for a trailer, well, yeah, then you might see the numbers go up because they're coming for a very established voice and name to do that. But if they're selecting from a pool of people who have a bunch of songs, a lot of times you see the budget's lower. Now, I can only tell you what I've seen, not saying that they don't exist, right?
Yeah, I understand.
I've seen trailers on films range between 15 to maybe 60,000.
Okay.
That's where I tend to notice them be around. But like I said, it could be higher. I've just never seen them.
Yeah.
Commercials is where I tend to see the biggest ones. So let's say, for instance, in my private community where we have a bunch of people who make music and work with sync, we had a brief last week for $140,000 for a commercial. And then 2 weeks ago, we had a brief for $500,000.
Wow. Okay.
That $500,000 placement, I've seen that maybe only 6 times in my whole career. So when they come
Okay.
around, they're very rare, but they do exist.
Okay.
That's where I
Okay.
tend to see the largest amount is usually in campaigns for
Uh-huh.
major advertisements, because like when you think of a trailer is used only for that movie, and then you never see it again. Commercial campaigns can be 4 years. So
True.
that's
True.
where you'll tend to see those bigger numbers. But anyway, let's go back to what you were saying, the places to best look for connections to place music in general at your level, because you're talking about,
Hmm.
it seems like very robust music,
Hmm.
correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he also missed the point. Like we were actually looking for trailers and commercials together.
And
Okay.
commercials.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I
songs
thought I'll
and
address it one by one, but you came to the point eventually.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people now who are pitching to sync because it's become really just like a worldwide sort of thing where people are selling courses and people are saying like you
Yeah.
can make money here, and there's licensing libraries opening from all around the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so as there becomes more film projects, there becomes more need for music, and it kind of goes hand
Yeah.
in hand, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
more film projects right now than ever before in history.
True. True.
Okay. I spend more time scrolling through Netflix than watching Netflix now. It's because there's there's
Yeah.
so much out there, right?
Yeah.
And with Sora and the inventions of new AI programs, people will be able to make even
Yep.
more content. And we're going to, for the first time, see independent companies make films as good as major filmmakers.
Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find people who can do stuff from their house with green screens that we're going to be amazed by over in the next 10 years. So
True.
the sync industry is going to change.
Yeah.
Now, how would I look at these things? One, it's all going to be based on personal connections and the companies you work with. So if you are trying to break into, let's say, the American or the market in the UK, there's a couple ways you can get in the doors. One is by collaborating with people who are already in there. That probably would be the easiest. So you don't have to travel back and forth to States or travel to UK and do all this traveling. That could be very expensive, especially Los Angeles for 2 weeks. Airbnb, we're talking about $3,000 with food and everything and all kinds of stuff, right? So the first way I think is easiest, if you have great music, is just to collaborate with people who are already talented singers, work with them on some songs so they can walk your songs into these companies. And what will happen is, let's imagine I'm the A&R for some sync company. If I'm working with a new artist, we'll call the artist Brandon, and Brandon brings me some songs and I go, oh, this song's amazing, I want to put this in the library. I have to contact you because you have to sign off on it. So let's say I contact you and I say, hey, I just want to have clearance to represent this song. And you write me back, of course, no problem. Is there anything else you're looking for in your catalog? And then I say, well, there are some few things, like, what do you work on? And you send me a sampler with a few tracks that you do really well. Well, now we've established a relationship because I met you through Brandon. I already want one of the other songs, but now I realize you do even more things that I really need. We start our relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to get in the very beginning, especially when you don't live in the States. Now, the other thing you could do is you could take a couple trips a year, maybe 1 or 2 trips a year in the beginning, just to establish connections at sync conferences and at American companies. There's definitely several good ones. You do it for maybe a year or two, just establish a network. And that way, if you say you meet 6 people at each event, at the end of a year, if you go twice, that's 12 people a year. At the end of 2 years, that's 20. That's 24 connections. Those 24 connections, out of that 24, maybe 5 will turn into something that's prosperous, but at least it gets you growing with people. And most likely you probably meet a lot of artists as well in those kind of trips.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much the way to do it nowadays, because you can send it to open submissions, and yes, that can work. And I do say that if you have great music, to try that as well. And if you do all 3 of those things, you send out the music to open submissions, you go to a couple events, you work with people who are already kind of there, like artist wise. If you do all of those things and it's consecutive and consistent, you'll tend to see that the business starts building around you. And if you have good music, usually after the first year of doing this, you get so busy that you're really then focusing on only the projects you're serious about. Because I'll just tell you what usually happens. you write a couple songs with a couple artists, the artists are really talented. They show the songs to executives and to other artists, then other people start contacting you.
Okay.
And now you have executives and artists contacting you for production gigs, and you're trying to volley all of it at the same time while you probably have your own business as well. So it starts to get you become more selective if you follow the method I just gave you.
Okay. Oh wow.
Sense.
That is amazing. So you're saying this is the same route that we have to take for the commercials also? Like it's
Well, I'm saying
same
that
for trailers.
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many artists in
Yeah.
the States now who are in communities who are really, really talented singers, and they do their vocals from home, but they don't.
Hmm.
I'll tell you
Have the
this.
production.
Yes. Okay. So one thing that's interesting is that there's not, like, if you said to someone, I'm looking for a singer, there's singers everywhere.
Yeah.
If you say, I'm looking for a singer who can record high quality vocals from home, that gets much smaller. If
Yeah.
you say, I'm looking for a singer who can record high quality vocals from home, who doesn't have drama and who can finish the songs with deadlines and be professional, that gets even smaller. If you say, though, I'm looking for a producer, that gets tough.
Yeah.
So the amount of producers who have really great music, who have no drama, and who can do things on a fast timeline, and the amount of singers who have no drama, who also can fast timeline and have great voices and record from home, these are both very small pieces of the music industry collected. So that's why these two work really well together when they're focused. And you can see,
Oh,
like, I have mentees of mine who do this, right? This I mentor people. So I'll see within a year's time, they could have been kind of good. And at the end of the year, their productions are amazing. Their songwriting is amazing. The artists are amazing. And they know how to network. They know how to be trustworthy. They know how to do good business. But that's because they're learning from a bunch of mentors who are already doing it.
okay.
I would say try to get around, wherever you go, try to get around people who are learning from other professionals and not figuring it out along the way, because if they're figuring along the way, they're going to drag you through the mistakes, and that can be very time consuming, and you can lose money and relationships and things like that.
Yeah.
Hey, that's very valuable. Oh, that's very valuable. Oh, that makes a lot of sense.